ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter. It's your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movies. Obsession and Backrooms. But of course, before we get to any of that, I'm joined today by I didn't make names. I was a little hasty. We'll go with Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? It's Nathaniel. Sorry we're late, delayed. We got lost in a liminal space. You'll never believe it.
Yeah.
Just happened to,
We found a place.
Yeah.
It goes on and on.
The house was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside.
Justin Long was there. He was measuring the square footage. Whoa.
That's right. It's a barbarian episode again. Yeah, but it's good to be back,
Nathaniel. Yes, it is good.
Good to be here with the boys.
You know, we've had some scheduling difficulties.
Indeed.
Partially on my part. It's good to be back here. It's been a while for me. Actually, almost a full month.
Yeah, you've been out the game for a bit.
Because I missed back-to-back weeks, and we skipped a week.
You were truly doing some explorations of some liminal spaces.
Yeah. Yes, I was. The liminal space of Victor, Idaho, and Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Sounds pretty liminal to me, man.
It was a great time out there. I had a really good trip. Beautiful country out. You guys ever been in that area? Rockies, kind of Wyoming?
Not that part. No,
I've never been to Wyoming. Did you go to South Dakota?
No, it was we stayed in Victor, Idaho, right next to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So it's right on the border of Wyoming and Idaho, and by Grand National Park. Tetons.
No, never did Idaho or Wyoming, man. So that's
okay.
That's cool. I'm sure it was beautiful out there, though. Sure.
It was, and you guys are nature people, which I know you guys are, and stuff. Like, it was awesome. Super good time. But yeah, glad to be back here.
Glad to have you.
Some good horror movies. Also today, it's we'll go with Wishful Tie, Tyler Riddles.
I was thinking maybe like Turn Back Tie.
Okay.
Turn Back
Not
Tie.
Bad. Tape Door Tie.
There you
Tyler
go.
Dallas.
Tape Door Tie. Okay,
Funny enough,
okay.
the Monday following the opening of this weekend, the opening weekend of Backrooms, I'm walking to my car in my parking garage, which is about, well, Nathaniel, you've walked it. It's about like 3.5-4 blocks from my apartment. But I'm walking into the parking garage, and I turn to my left, and it's someone had taped a door outline on the wall.
Oh,
like
really?
Did you test it?
Yeah. I didn't. I was like too scared. I was like, this can't be real. I don't want to get lost.
I would have absolutely gone and touched the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's someone has since removed it, but it was kind of funny to see. I was like, is that what I think it is? And
some A24 viral marketing.
That.
Someone was over there with a GoPro set up. You just didn't see
probably.
It. Watching for people to test it.
I'm going to see myself in some Instagram ad for the second movie or something.
We set up 36 tape doors around Chicago.
Turns out they actually go to a liminal place. Let's see how many people try to enter.
You're on a Mr.
And I just
Beast
see myself
video.
not go in there. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's the creepy part. Is you see the video released 7 years or like a couple weeks later, but you never went in the door.
Right, exactly. I never saw what was inside.
Yeah. Doppel Adams over there.
Turns out it's like Beast Games in there, and Mr. Beast is there waiting, and it's a game show.
Stand in this circle for the next 24 days without doing anything, and I'll give you $10 million.
Can you survive the Backrooms for 30 days? Survive, and I'll give you $1 billion. find your way out for a chance.
As
I
the
know.
whole
You can
thing's
have
being
my
live
channel.
streamed.
I know what I'm using my
Yeah.
one wish on.
What's that?
Is it
Nathaniel?
just to get out of the back rooms?
No, in that scenario, I think it's to end the entity known as Mr. Beast.
Okay. That's good. One wish
Not
will
bad. Yep, not bad. Rounding out the squadron over there, it's Big Cat BlakeHolder.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
What's up, you cool cats and kittens?
Figured the cat kind of,
Yeah,
fits.
there is a cat in one
Kinda
of these
fits.
movies. Is there?
Oh,
is
yeah.
there a cat in the other one? No.
No,
No,
not
just
really
one
any
cat.
space
Oh.
for pets. A lot of it's just
Yeah.
I'm
I'm trying to think even like the scenes that are in the real world, I guess,
Yeah.
quote unquote. But yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it,
Yeah.
man.
We have everyone introduced. Full transparency to our listeners. It is pretty late here on a weeknight, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of speed run this episode a little bit. So we're gonna start off quickly, go around. We can give very brief thoughts and a recommendation for each movie, and then we're gonna go into a liminal review where we're kind of just gonna talk about both movies in a way that feels natural and we want to talk about and bring up. It might not have a lot of structure to it, but we're just going to chat about them. We're an extra casual movie talk podcast, and we're going to have a little kind of casual chat just about both these movies, the horror that has kind of blown up in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And yeah, it's going to be a good discussion on it. Really quick, we'll go do our recommendations. These are, and I should say, both reviews, like the whole episode, we're just going to consider spoilers full time. So, like, if you haven't seen these movies, just listen to the recommendations quick and then dip out of here. But do expect spoilers of that the rest of the way. Okay, starting with Obsession, since that one came out
Yes.
first. What are our brief thoughts and recommendations? I'll start off quick. Loved Obsession. Fun viewing experience. Cool to see the debut of this director, and highly recommend you watch that movie. You could probably still catch it in theaters. I'm sure they're gonna maybe extend the run a little bit on the
Absolutely.
theatrical run, but I do think it's worth watching in theaters. If you can even catch it with an audience, I think it would be awesome too, because there was definitely some good audience reactions in this one that added to the experience if you caught it with a crowd. But yeah, Obsession was awesome. Blake, Obsession.
Yeah. Obsession is one. I don't know if I caught this before Adam caught it. I did catch it release weekend, but I want to say I watched it Sunday with Haley. So that goes back to, I think this thing came
I
out.
think we watched it the same day then.
Okay. Yeah, this came out here. Let me go to my page. This came out the 15th of May. So that means I caught it maybe the 19th or something like that, 18th. And kind of before a lot of the hype got to it. But yeah, in short, man, I liked it a lot. Went in blind, didn't really know what it was about as usual, and walked away. And I was like, hey, like this is way better than I anticipated. But I didn't have the chance for all of the kind of hoopla to
it's
increase
just
my
built.
expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think I had a drastically different viewing experience on day 3 of release compared to those of you who caught it maybe 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later or now a month later.
yeah.
I guess I'm pushing a month, but 3 weeks later, right, where
Borderline.
you have all the word of mouth that this seems like this is a film that's carrying a lot of word of mouth, right? So you're kind of robbing yourself of some of those early memories if you didn't catch it in time. That being said, though, I did love it, and that's my quick synopsis. I'll pass it to somebody else, and a lot of stuff that I'd like to briefly touch on once we kind of get into spoilers and get everyone's opinion. But yeah, that's mine. Nathaniel?
Yeah, you and I briefly chatted about this last week as well too, or our last recording, I should say. So yeah, if any of your viewers or listeners are curious, you can also double check that as well too. But yeah, I caught this, I want to say, in week 2 of its run, and it was initially I was just kind of like, I need to see this so that I don't have something spoiled for me, or like it becomes the cultural zeitgeist moment and everyone's talking about it and I have no context. But I definitely enjoyed it as well too. I think it's a really strong movie. I think it's I feel this is the kind of you were talking kind of like the word of mouth hype and the kind of build that's been coming with it. And I kind of feel like this is the first one for a while since maybe Get Out that has kind of like built this kind of organically and like kind of over time where more people are seeing it on week 3 than they did on week 1 as well too. Like I was at the store today and people were saying like, yeah, we're on our way to see Obsession. It's our second viewing kind of thing, which just doesn't happen now in big 2026 for movies.
Absolutely.
You know? So, yeah, I think it's definitely that. I think similarly to Get Out too, there's elements of this movie that I think work best if you are a newcomer to the horror genre and you maybe haven't seen those used in other ways and explored in other movies before. That being said, I still think Obsession is a really good example of the kind of classic monkey paws storyline as well too. And I have seen some criticism out there now that we're kind of getting more, like we've seen word of mouth and everyone's kind of seeing it now too. Have seen some criticism out there that I think is legitimate that maybe we'll talk about a little bit more deeper into the conversation and we're in a little more spoiler territory and such. But I think that is worth kind of bringing up as well too. But overall, definitely a strong debut, isn't it? Second movie. I think he had or at least feature debut. He had, I think, a full length movie on YouTube as well too. But crazy on that one, and definitely someone I look forward to. I think in my mind, the mold that he seems to be built in is most distinctly Zach Cregger's. That's what it feels closest to.
Sure.
Is a barbarian, a weapons as well too. To me,
I agree.
And a similar kind of relationship to humor in the snes as well too. I think. So yeah, I'll be excited, interested to see what he does next. And got another good one, man. Horror is always remains to be the genre of discovery for new talents in some ways. It's why I never get tired of it in a lot of ways as well too, man. So yeah, definitely recommend. Tyler, did you end up getting a chance to check this one out?
I sure did. Your boy has been in back-to-back movies the last 2 days.
Thoughts?
Hell yeah.
Thoughts, friend.
Are we doing both?
Obsession first.
Let's start with Obsession.
Right. Okay.
Obsession recommendations, now recommendations. And
okay. Let me go back to Codex. Beep boop, beep boop, beep beep.
Flip through that Rolodex real quick.
Yeah, man. Really quite a little banger, which is good. I've had a little bit of exposure to at least these two gentlemen, just from YouTube's. And they've always been really, really great for a good laugh, and even some of their short stuff has always been really fun to watch. And it is mainly horror adjacent, if not completely kind of like horror. But they've got a couple of them. They got like a 30-minute short called The Chair, I think, on YouTube. Yeah. There's another one that's like over an hour long. And then they got a couple of other stuff in there that, sits around like that 10, 15, 20-minute one. They got this one where they go to space. It's fucking hilarious. But definitely a good little watch there. But overall, like, just performances and just generally speaking, they cooked. I know Curry's the kind of overall director behind this piece, so definitely give him a little bit more credit. But I know that they both work very closely on pretty much everything, and this is only gonna make them kind of skyrocket even more. But yeah, man, just a good little horror movie that you didn't necessarily ask for. It's definitely kind of got some really good reminiscence of other movies that we've seen, maybe even recorded for on here. But yeah, man, I think I'm definitely a recommend for this. Kind of like you guys said, with people still showing up to theaters and stuff like that. I know when I was originally looking like last week or maybe even the week before, because I wanted to go see this, things were still pretty packed out.
Yeah.
Which is always good to see. And then even today, at like 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, I still had like, we'll call it 15 people in there.
Wow. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you.
So still to be able to, bring people out at that time of day, and honestly, it was a lot of people. Well, not a lot, but like
feels like a
variety of people.
Yeah.
Too. So yeah, man, this thing's getting around as it should. Yeah, recommend. They did a great job. We can obviously get into it and spoilers and stuff like that, but yeah, killer.
Cool. Recommends all around for Obsession. Backrooms, I'm also recommend. Definitely cooler on Backrooms overall than I am Obsession, but I did still really like the movie overall. Another directorial debut, this time by what is he, 20? I think he was 19 when he made it or something like that. Yeah. So makes me feel bad about myself quite a bit. But other than that, I like the movie a lot. So yeah, Backrooms is cool. I'm looking forward to a second
Had
one.
you
I think it'll be
watched any of the his original short films with Backrooms?
I've seen clips from it. I haven't watched the original thing, but I know of it and kind of have seen some highlights of it basically.
Sure.
But I haven't watched the full thing. Yeah, Blake, Backrooms.
Yeah, brother. This is one I think we kind of talked about in anticipation the week before. So obviously I caught this one release night, and we're kind of battling of how do you classify this type of movie, right? So is this an original idea? Is it an IP? Is it right? It's kind of one of those where you don't really know where to go.
Open source film lore.
Right. So yeah, we don't really know where to go, but ultimately, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, one thing I will say though that is this was the worst viewing experience I've had for a movie in a very long time.
The kids get into this one or something.
Yeah, this is the way people kind of complain about this one online of like that young crowd, right? And I sound like a fucking boomer even like saying this. But like, yeah, that was like the textbook crowd I had for this. And I didn't realize how large of an IP this was strictly off the Kane Pixels YouTube channel, right? And I went into the theater and I was like, holy shit, this thing is fucking packed. Right. And like
our theater was Friday,
also, like sold out.
Yes, on a Friday, packed. So me and Haley went over there. This may be like 5:30 on a Friday. It's like not even super late. Or like we kind of like finished up the day early. We get in there and like theater's packed. I'm talking from like people with, like 10 years olds with their parents involved in everything. I was like, oh, okay, this is like, I knew this was a YouTuber who curated a movie. I didn't understand it was this big kind of ordeal. And that obviously goes to like the opening weekend of doing like $80+ million opening weekend and like shattered every A24 record.
Yeah.
It's one of like the top 10 highest grossing R-rated opening weekends of all time. It has shattered all type of records. But yeah, nonetheless, the crowd I had, I saw that coming when I walked out of that crowd, but didn't expect it to go into it. In terms of the film, I like it. I didn't watch a ton, or I didn't watch any of his YouTube videos of the Backrooms, but I am of the minority cloth that I am aware of the Backrooms IP from Creepypasta. even years
yeah,
before
like the old
his
school
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Where I think there's a large demographic, particularly of kind of younger viewers or the casual viewers, right, who associate this to the Kane Pixels YouTube channel, right, and not even the original horror form, right, going back to like 2014 or whatever it may be, right, 2020.
Yeah, I think it was a 4chan post originally, like the OG
and it was just
one.
a photo.
Yeah,
it was just an OG photo. So yeah, that was really cool to kind of see that come alive. But yeah, in short, went in and I like it. The liminal spacing, that's going to be huge. This is going to be a huge movie when it comes to kind of revenue and what they're doing domestically and international. And ultimately, though, like hell of a movie for a directorial debut from a kid who's fucking 19, 20 years old. Like this shit is impressive, man. So I'm going to give it credit for that because it is a film, all things considered. Right, like it's shot well. There's good dialogue. There's there's practical sets. I think they built like 30,000 square feet of kind of liminal space in the back rooms or deals. I mean, talk about like doing shit the right way. I will absolutely give them credit for that and kind of just capturing a moment in time because I think this is one of those, and Obsession is going to be a moment in time when we think back on 10, 15 years of where horror went. These are going to be kind of two talking heads. But yeah, that's my stance. I've talked a lot. Nathaniel, go ahead, jump into it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't remember when I originally came across Backrooms, but it was definitely when it was still just I at least wasn't familiar with the Kane Pixels YouTube channel and his Backrooms stuff until I want to say around 2020 or so. I think. So yeah, I knew about Backrooms, like the concept, definitely before that as well. So that all being said, this one, it hit. I felt like it hit pretty decently. I felt like I had seen Obsession the week before, and I think a friend asked me kind of like what my thoughts were. And I basically said, you can tell that Curry Barker comes from the comedy side of things and knows how to build a scene around tension and uses that to explore his concept and kind of craft the film the way that Craigers does as well too. And I would even say Jordan Peele too, where they have a natural gift for unsettling the viewer in a way and keeping a scene engaging on a knife's point basically the entire time, where Backrooms feels much more like a kid who has grown up on YouTube videos and Minecraft play-alongs, like kind of getting his first a chance to break down and again adapt an internet meme lore, open source kind of craft. So it feels very much in its making and in its structure of its time and contemporary, where I feel like Obsession is much more a old school dramatic crafting kind of film. And I'm positive on Backrooms, genuinely. I think I think it's meeting its moment. I think it's meeting its audience where it is. I think it is a like we always talk about, we want to see something new. We want to see something that pushes the genre forward. I think it's a form of that. And I think all of these movies of this current kind of crop that we're seeing right now are kind of linked together in some ways with your Iron Lungs and you're going back to Shelby Oaks last year as well, even to the Philippou brothers with Bring Her Back and Talk to Me. I think all of these kind of YouTube generation filmmakers, you can tell and see that they're where they've built their chops in the way that the Spielbergs and the the Lucases and the Brian De Palmas and the Michael Manns of their era came up directing TV in the studio system.
Sure.
I think it has built this natural kind of progression and experience building to their filmmaking, and I think that's why we're seeing these movies rise and continue to build versus Mandalorian Grogu, which is just dead on arrival, basically. And it speaks to the quality of that. So I've talked a little bit more about, I guess, both movies as in general. I think Backrooms, really good concepts. I think the actors are doing a hell of a job in bringing more to these characters than maybe is what is kind of there on the page in a lot of ways. And there isn't what I would say a kind of traditional film structure to the kind of movie itself, but I don't know that always works against it either. So I would say I prefer Obsession as a movie. But I am equally excited, I think, about what's in the future for these guys and what these movies represent. So, Tyler.
Backrooms is still pretty positive for me as well, I think, for the most part. I would agree on the fact that it's definitely not as strong as Obsession is for me. But overall, still pretty positive on it. I think Obsession just did a significantly better job of kind of putting a bow on everything and kind of tightening it up a little bit more. Granted, I know they kind of set Backrooms up for a sequel, which obviously if you listen to this podcast, you know that, some of us feel that like some things are just stronger as a solo movie. And it would be interesting to see, kind of if this would have been stronger if they didn't set up things like that. But yeah, overall, pretty cool. I like the fact that they actually built like an actual set. You can tell even like the way that the thing that really stuck out to me the most for like something that I think I will probably remember is how footsteps sounded on like the carpet that they used. There's just something so nostalgic about like the audio design that they used for it. And me being a little bit older than you guys, I have been in rooms that look like that. From an aesthetic standpoint, just because again, like time periods just go back further. Because when was this set? In like late 80s?
90s.
Early 90s?
90s,
Seems
yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like the year I was born. So so yeah, like I vividly remember being in rooms that like are decorated like that. With like that kind of like yellow wallish like kind of like wallpaper, the same color carpet. And so it was a very kind of like vivid, nostalgic kind of point for me in this movie. And the way, like I said, that footsteps sounded on the carpet, and like the way that they just designed that was just it was top notch. So that's something that I think will stick with me for that movie for a while. We can obviously talk about it a little more in spoilers, but the like scary factor is pretty down for me in this one. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But overall, still pretty positive on it. I do agree that everybody on screen is really giving it their all, and it kind of seems like they're almost doing more than what was asked of them for sure. So yeah, I think I'm gonna recommend for Backrooms as well. But if it's between the two, obviously I'm gonna say go see Obsession first. But overall, if somebody's like, "Oh, should I watch Backdoors?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you should."
To also jump in real quick before we get fully out of that to echo Blake's point. I also had a singular kid in my theater that was definitely brought in with parents who was trying to explain all of the lore to them that had like as the movie went on and had clearly, grown up from the age of 6 to 9 on Kane Pixel's YouTube channel, or something like that. So that was a really interesting element that this is bringing out as well too. Like it really is kind of like older kid Minecraft movie, I feel like in some ways too.
Yeah. I would love to see a demographic breakdown, right, of the audience of Backrooms.
Yeah.
Where I think like legitimately it's got to be probably 35 to 45% of their ticket sales are probably people under the age of 18.
Yeah. But anyways, recommend for sure.
Cool. Spoilers?
Yeah. More thoughts on the other side here.
I'll just play the spoiler noise.
Yeah, play the spoiler noise, man.
I did.
Cool.
All right, cool.
Okay, I mean, I guess we'll kind of start with Obsession, right? So like I said, went into that blind. I had no idea how, like, once this kicked off with like the phone call to customer service.
Oh,
right?
sure.
It was obviously played by the director, and then you hear
it's like
the real
chewing.
Nikki who's kind of stuck in some sort of purgatory hell.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's when I was like, oh, this is way deeper than I thought it was, and I'm in. Like I was in before that, but that's when I was in. I was like, okay, like Curry Barker knows what he's doing. Right. And like that's the one that completely sold me on it. The obvious thing here is obviously I believe it's Indy. Is it Navarette? I don't want to mispronounce her last name.
I think so. Something like that.
She's obviously getting a ton of praise for this, rightfully so.
Rightfully
one of the better horror performances I've seen in recent memory. Legitimately up there with like your Mia Goth and Pearl, your Toni Collette Hereditary.
I want to say from like a cinematography point, I still don't know how they did those shots at night where it seems like they got the light reflecting in her eyes at like a certain distance as well too. Those were where like you can barely make out her features, but there is light in her eyes so that you always know like where she's looking as
where she's looking.
Yeah, it was really good cinematography on that one.
Dude, like honestly,
good filmmaking in general throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
in terms of just using camera tricks, practical camera tricks to scare people.
And just in general, like this movie spends so much time in a medium close up, where like you are watching an actor talk and also react, and you get it right from the start, where like that slow kind of crash in on Bear as he's practicing with the waitress at the and where you're getting
diner.
And you're getting his like you're immediately given your main character and you're immediately given access to his features and watching him go through a vulnerable moment, and you're only watching him react, which is such a smart thing to do as a filmmaker. And again, it's such a mature like filmmaker move. I feel like it's definitely not something you see in a lot of debut filmmaker films. But continue. I jumped in immediately there overall.
Yeah,
walked
no
over
worries,
all
dude.
this.
I mean, I think we're all high on this, and like rightfully so, right? So you're talking about cinematography. Adam and Tyler have talked about the use of lighting and camera tricks and practical effects and silhouettes and corners, and like makeup to provide shadowing on people's faces with the different light reflections.
Well, I think
it's great. It's great.
Those moments when she's at the foot of the bed and like then she'll go quickly somewhere, that clearly looks like it's been like shot, or like she's moving in reverse and then they've reversed the shot around and everything, and that's very just old school movie making as well too. But again, just so fucking creepy. That scene when he wakes up at night and she's standing at the end of the bed.
It's horrifying too.
That was definitely the one where I was like, "Woo, okay."
Yeah, that's where I feel like it escalates. Like it cranks up the horror a bit. Is that scene? But the movements that she does throughout the movie are so well done and so well placed and spaced out. Where like none of them you're expecting it. And the first time you see it, you're kind of like, I didn't like that. And then you can't brace yourself for the other ones because they're almost jump scares, but they're, not jump scares to that degree that you're used to, but they just come out of nowhere and they catch you so much off guard. And for that to be done so practically, it's just really smart filmmaking.
And I've seen clips of The Chair, and it uses a lot of those similar kind of tactics where it'll be like he gets a character to commit to like a sentence and a gesture or something like that, and then they'll like in the middle of it completely reverse with both like an action and like a new thing. So like they'll be in a like either talking, and then they're like screaming in the other direction. And like that swerve for you as a viewer is so jarring and so to Adam's point, like a jump scare, but it's not fake. Because it's not built from like from unnatural sound that's not playing in the scene. It's the actor themselves that's like turning the jump scare on, and I think that's very effective as a viewer. Because as an audience member, you're so used to getting into the rhythm of a scene and like expecting more dialogue to come, or like if I think like a couple times Nikki's like silent or something like that, and then starts screaming like kind of out of nowhere as well too, and it is.
I was gonna say her voice acting in a lot of scenes where she's not physically present on screen are probably some of the best scares in that movie. For me, when she's like screaming at him, whether he's in the bathroom or she's in the bathroom, her ability to change her emotions was phenomenal. And then the part where I was like, oh yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm good on that, is when he's leaving to go meet was it Sarah?
Yeah.
And she's in the bed laying still and she's like, kill me. And I'm like, dude, no. Or like even when they're in the car, originally after he originally makes the wish right away and she puts her head on the dash and she's talking or she's crying, but there's like no physical movements. Those were the times where I was like, oh yeah, okay, shit's about to pop off. So she killed this, dude. I know she's 100%. Not quite necessarily. I think they share like co-ownership of star of the movie. But yeah, they I mean everybody did a great job, but those two fucking hard carried.
No, I mean you're spot on with that, Tyler, in terms of the distinguishment between verbiage that the characters have as well as physical interactions. And I think at one point in this film we kind of go through it's very much like a roller coaster here, right? As I'm searching for my words, where at points it feels like, Baron is like potentially kind of like we feel bad for him, right? He's the person like we're watching the movie through. We feel bad for him. And then other times it's like it kind of flips on its head. It's like, okay, like he might be the villain. And then eventually it kind of fully commits that he is the villain.
Oh yeah.
And I think the scenes that you're talking about, Ty, are kind of like where it gets to, because at first, right, for the viewer, you're kind of you ultimately you feel bad for him. Of course, that's how the movie's set up to be, whether you buy into it or not, right? That's just the context of a horror movie. That being said, it eventually does flip, though, right? And some of those scenes are kind of very graphic, right? There's like trigger warnings for like sexual assaults where they're having a sexual relationship, and Nikki's obviously the real Nikki is not into it, right? So her body's kind of just laying there, right? And then an entity is alluding to they're enjoying a sexual relationship, and there's a lot of layers in this. So we're like, when I was watching, I was like, oh man, I don't like some of this stuff, and it's very deep, it's very well thought out, and I totally understand why this is so digestible by an enormous amount of people, because like we haven't even got to the box office standpoint, but this film is legitimately one of the best achievements that I've seen in box office fucking, I don't know, probably going back to like Paranormal Activity, right? If we're being honest here, we're like, this thing's got a budget of less than $1 million, and this is fucking unheard of, man. This thing is doing more in week 2 than it did in week 1.
Yeah.
And then more in week 3 than it did in week 2. Like, that's just like, you don't see that stuff at all for like the casual listeners and kind of moviegoers who are like jumping in that stuff. Like normally you will, like, for example, Backrooms, great opening weekend, one of the highest grossing rated R movies of all time, right? And A24's highest grossing opening weekend. It's by pretty wide margins, by like 45 or 50%. That had a drop off the second week. I think it was like a 68% drop off.
You expect it more, at least 50. And if you get close to 50, you're like, holy shit, we have a hit. Like,
exactly. Yeah, of course.
You do not
like,
go the
people
opposite
who want to go
direction.
see it have already saw it.
Yeah.
Right. And Obsession is like the polar opposite of that, where like there's more motherfuckers watching it on week 3 than there were the before week. And it's just like, that's word of mouth. And you don't really have that type of stuff where we're at in society. There's not too many unanimously shared cultural moments, because everything can be broken up to people having their own interest online. And this is one of those things that's just broke out to like, it's huge. I don't know. I don't know when we'll see this again, to be honest with you. I try not to speak in hyperbole, but yeah, this is like truly fascinating, where I don't know. It's now up to I think it's like 220 million. It's kind of the last thing I've seen, where it's absurd what this thing has done. On like daily, weekly totals. It's impressive, man. Up there with like your Blair Witch Project, your Paranormal Activities stuff, where like, yeah, this is going to be one of those most profitable movies all time once you kind of break it down to pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and we cover a lot of ground there. I want to go back to the moments we were kind of talking about with that the film sets up, where they basically the moment where Bear is like, or Nikki asks him to kill her, and then Bear's like, is it so bad to be with me? And she says, I've never been with you. From that moment on, Bear is the worst character, and like he's just unredeemable, like should die, like obviously
and you can honestly make an argument it may even be before that.
So, and I think that's what that's the final, like, if you weren't off at this point, that is the one where you're like going there. And I think it's important there, because there is some criticism that I've read that from that point the film itself actually should have doubled down, like that it does it kind of lets Bear off a little bit towards the end, instead of really going into his cowardice and his role in there and really kind of making him out to the villain it is, because it still kind of ends up leaving the film's events at the foot of Nikki, which is tragic and ultimately there, but it's like there's a cruelty in that because of that doesn't necessarily sit right all the way. And I think I definitely understand where they're coming from on that side of things. I think the film is still effective, but I think, upon retrospective, if the film had committed a little bit more to outright having Bear as the villain from there on and kind of really doubling down on that, I think there might have been more to say in that vein. That being said, I think the film itself, up until that point, does an excellent job of starting Bear in a place where you, as the audience, feel like, okay, this is like kind of his first crusher, so like you can see him, and you can see him kind of try and figure out, and he might make some mistakes, but you're willing to forgive those, and then pretty quickly it kind of like starts to build those a little bit deeper, where again you as the audience kind of get to play the game of like, okay, well, at what point am I out on this dude? And like it does a really good job of towing that line for a lot longer than I thought it was going to be able to maintain it as well. Because in essence, as soon as he snaps the twig and understands that this is happening and that she does not have control over it, he is just the worst.
Which you can make the argument that essentially happens like the first night.
Yep.
Right, like the car interaction, you can kind of let him off, like if due to suspension of disbelief,
or
right?
like they're like
he doesn't understand in the car,
or like even his buddy's like she was on Molly or something like that, and like you're like,
okay. And he talks to his buddy. He's like, I don't know, man. Like she kind of was tweaking last night. She takes Molly or whatever, right? So you kind of do that, but I think the double down, right, is eventually his well, we didn't even get to it, where his buddy is also like objectively a jackass too.
Yeah. His buddy is also a villain.
His buddy has a terrible relation with the girl he has a crush on and doesn't even have the balls to tell him. right, which like
I
isn't
saw
a real friend by any
I
means.
saw one thing where it was like, could you imagine, Bear makes his own decisions, is the villain of the movie for sure. But like almost the real bad guy, the impetus of it all is Ian, because at the beginning of the movie gives the advice that he shouldn't be honest and vulnerable with Nikki and confess all his feelings, that she would interpret it that way. And if he had given him different advice, maybe he would have opened up to her when dropping her off, and wouldn't have gone down this path of making the One Wish Willow and stuff like that. So
I mean, she asked right before she goes up to the house.
She gives him the out.
She literally
gives him the opportunity to confess all of that if he wanted to, and he doesn't.
Too scared.
And if Ian had gone about things differently, or was it just a different friend entirely, the whole events of the movie, and obviously it's a movie, things happen because they're supposed to, whatever. But all of that could have been avoided. But yeah, he's a terrible friend throughout the movie.
There's
almost
like good people in this.
It's almost like
down to like, here's this thing, like, I just need you to make a wish that I undo mine. Like, please, I'm begging you, it's real. Like, just don't. And then he's like, $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah, which
and then he comes back over to the house. He's like, do not come to the fucking house. Shows up to the house and he's like, dude, I have $1 billion. It's real.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. That was like the lean into the comedy bits for sure.
Definitely the Zach Crackers moment.
And then just gets rocked.
Dude,
of course,
aim-botted, dude. It was
for sure.
insane. Yeah.
So you have that.
Sarah's death was brutal, dude.
As soon as
staring at that window, it's gonna happen.
It's happen.
It's just a matter of when. The cool thing too with all the car scenes is I think they did a really good job at basically putting like this kind of like dirtiness around all the windows. So it kind of gave you like a bokeh effect that you almost had to look at that certain point, almost every single time that they were in a car. But yeah, even though, from the most seasoned horror watchers, it's coming.
We all did.
It's only a matter of time, and it did not disappoint.
Dude, they could have put me in a commercial with how far back I jumped in my shit. I'm
the old school, like, I know we said Paranormal Activity commercials already, but like where they have like the infrared cameras.
If they had an infrared camera on me, I would be in a commercial. I jumped that hard.
He's the guy in the Coca-Cola commercial that throws the popcorn when he jumps, basically.
For sure.
If I had popcorn in my hand, that would have happened.
Yeah, that was one where I was just like, as soon as they cut to that frame, I was just like, well, I'm staring at this and I'm just waiting. I'm not even paying attention to what they're even talking about at this point.
Of course.
I've just seen this too many times.
Yeah.
The other really cool thing for me too, just on like a film aspect, is it's really just the four of them. The entire movie.
And this movie
there are some very minimal background characters when they're at like the store or at the party, but quite literally just the four of them for the entirety of the movie, which is really, really great to be able to create such a lived-in world in such a small space.
Yeah, this movie is relentless with keeping you trapped in with the characters. Like, it does not give you any space to breathe. Basically, you're not getting a ton of setup shots. You're basically moving with them from conversation to conversation to conversation. And as soon as Bear makes the wish, Nikki is never away from his side, basically. And if it is, something bad is happening. So, like, you as an audience member just do not get a break, basically, as soon as he makes the One Wish Willow and snaps the twig. Which, again, just smart filmmaking. I think a lesser filmmaker or someone who, is typically, if they're making their debut, we don't see that choice in there as well, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of one thing here I kind of wanted to touch on, too, before we get out of here, is just that from watching this, you can kind of pick and see where the inspiration for other horror movies lies within this. Right, because it is everywhere, and we always like enjoy that too. But when you're talking about how relentless the film is of kind of placing us with the characters and not giving us any time to breathe, it's very atmospheric. A lot of that to me reminded me of It Follows, and I think that's what me and Nathaniel talked about when we first chatted on this. Right, is there's a large portion of this that takes place in your kind of like, it almost seems like a dream world where obviously you have this mechanism that you can make a wish and things come true. And there's people who have like modern cars, there's people who have old cars, there's TVs that have antennas on them, right? There's flat screen TVs.
There's clamshell phones.
Yeah.
It's all of these things that takes place in kind of this dream world, right? Where like the bed, the clocks right next to beds are like very old clocks at times, right? But it's like that's not really how, right? Like most people's clocks are.
Well,
now.
like, even that you can go to a shop and buy a thing and you can't Google it afterwards. Like you could still come across just weird shit in the shop somewhere that you would have no idea if you did have it or if you had an issue with it, like how to source any knowledge about it or something like that. You're more on your own.
Yeah, a local music store can, employ 4 full-time employees.
Yeah,
right. And have them all working at the same time too.
Yeah.
It's not even like they're taking different shifts. It's like we're just gonna have all 4 people work
They're all
fucking
9 to 5.
10 hours. Yeah. But yeah, man, that was fascinating, and I just didn't realize how supernatural this was gonna be. Kind of going into it on a serious note, I thought it was just gonna be kind of a crazy partner story. And then once it leans into the supernatural with One Wish Willow, I was like, oh, wow. And my introduction to that was the car scene. They get up to the room and there's like cuts from the characters talking to each other. And the time in the background on the clock keeps changing rapidly.
Sure.
Right. And that was kind of my first introduction. Like, okay, I think I know where we're going. This is very dream world, like where, it's like I can throw out all the expectations of modern reality just off the first 15 minutes of this and kind of watching this clock go very sporadic. But yeah, man, in short, it's good, man. It's good. You can see the professionalism, right, that YouTube creation has in the horror genre. And this is just a testament to what Nathaniel's saying. He's like, man, like horror, like reigns supreme when you want like original ideas and like what your average moviegoer will go fucking sit down and see on a limb of like, oh man, everyone's talking about it. I'm gonna go check it out, right? And like that's where your home runs come from, man. So yeah, that being said, a lot of online discourse. I don't want, and I know where it's gonna go, and we all know where it's gonna go because we have a movie podcast. But I don't want to fucking see a too obsessed or a fucking obsessed too much. I don't want to see any of this, but I know they're gonna make it.
I have seen a clip of Curry say he thinks it would be cool if they did like a Black Mirror type show where it's anthology and then each episode is a different One Wish Willow wish. And he could give it to different directors and they could make a 10 episode thing and it's 10 different directors. That kind of thing. That I'd be open to, but yeah, I don't need to make this an IP.
Totally agree.
Maybe they will, and whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree, dude. And I think there is enough left in there where, like, if you're doing the anthology Black Mirror series, where it doesn't seem to read like your traditional monkey's paw, where it seems like there is kind of some inherent I don't know, truthfulness, right, to the One Wish Willow, right, where everything doesn't come as a catch, right? So yeah, I guess it could be a cool anthology, but my man Bear just wished for like a very poorly worded wish,
poorly made choice of words.
Yeah, legitimately, yeah, just wishing that somebody loved you more than anyone else ever in the world, right? Because there are some people out there who do a lot of crazy things at the extent of love. So yeah, man, that's Obsession, man. But yeah, crazy.
Let's talk about Backrooms a bit, and then we'll
jet
move quickly here. There's less to talk about here. I think I'll just say I was really liking this movie, and it had me pretty invested up until
when did it lose you?
Pirate Clark.
I think it's what'd you say?
Pirate Clark.
Pirate, essentially, yeah. Up until like
is it that or like the dinner scene?
I mean, that segment of the movie, like once the therapist goes into the back rooms and then Clark like kidnaps her, I'm just like, what is happening? How did we get here? I mean, it reeks of like a rewrite or reshoot of some kind. I'm going to assume it's like, I don't know if the I forgot.
I don't know if it's
off the top of my head.
if it's a
Kane
re.
Parsons.
if it's a rewrite as much, or if it's just that you don't. The Backrooms is just the setup. You don't ever have the kind of even the original creepypasta was like, clip out of reality. You're in the Backrooms, and it goes on and on for miles, and there's something else in here. That's always going to be scarier than explaining what it is. And once you try to explain it, it becomes too tangible, and I feel like that's where you get a plot hole, or like people start to ask questions, and it's not. I don't know. Continue. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have jumped in
You're
there.
good.
But
I mean, no, I hear you, and I don't know if I necessarily need an answer to what they are, but it's just more so like it just felt like we jumped. Like I just don't know. Like we were building to something. They hinted to like a creature painting on the wall, and other monsters making steps, the bird, and then whatever grabbed the dude with the camera. Like, and we just didn't fully see that. And now I don't know if they made this movie knowing there was going to be a sequel or expecting one. It kind of feels that way based on the ending and how we just kind of jumped to one. So that's where the film lost me. Is I was really on board up until then. I didn't necessarily need an answer to everything, but like it just felt like it was building to something, and then it just kind of jumped into a different kind of timeline on the story, and they just kind of accelerated it, and then the movie ended. So that was my biggest issue. But other than that, like it was still a fun watch. I was like intrigued the whole time. Like every time they're in the back rooms, I'm kind of a little on edge. I'm like, this is obviously very strange, and you're kind of get a little bit of goosebumps and stuff like that. I think it's also a good directorial debut. I think some of the cinematography is great. The using the like the VHS camera or camcorder is awesome, and they use it to a great effect. And of course, that's part of the original aesthetic of the original Backrooms, viral short film thing.
Yep.
So overall pleased with the movie and happy for it, and would be interested in the sequel. But definitely fell a little flat for me.
Yeah, there's I feel like as well I've seen a certain amount of like the backroom short films, as well as just like general liminal space threads on the internet. And there are parts in this movie where I'm like, oh, that's just that I've seen before. And like, I know what we're pulling from here at this. And that felt strange at certain points. But again, I don't know if I can necessarily hold that against the movie, because I feel like that is, to kind of what Blake was saying too, like that is what you're drawing from. That's what you're adapting. So it kind of has to make a presence as well too. It seems to be that like when you kind of try and fit a story structure onto that is when you start to run into more of these issues. And this movie carries a lot of themes from the book House of Leaves into it as well too. In the idea of like, there is in that one, it's about a guy, family in a house. One day the house is measured, he's measuring in a closet and figures out the closet is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Then the next day a door opens up. He goes into the door, and it's this extended, series of rooms beneath the house or from the house. And the rooms themselves are vast, and the more he explores, the more he finds, but they also change. And that's the kind of scary part of it, is losing yourself in there while it's changing you. So it becomes these series of expeditions into it. And that's very much like that first kind of scene that we get feels almost pulled directly from House of Leaves in some ways. Even that kind of ulterior kind of institute that is setting these things up and doing the explorations. A lot of that feels pulled from House of Leaves. And I don't think it's intentional, or I don't even know if he knows where it's from, but it feels like that is where some of this has definitely come from. Yeah, I think because of that, it makes the smart choice to rely on the actors, and they're lucky that they have Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renata Renzva, I believe is her name, who are both very capable and can carry the scenes well. But to Tyler's point, Adam's point, I think as soon as we get into that kind of deeper lore moment and those kind of extra bits there, it starts to fall apart. To the point that the scariest moment for me was actually her climbing those stairs above the pit.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then
yeah,
pulls the door and the fucking thing falls. I was like, God damn it. Like, I would have fallen. I would have died right there. Like 100% I'm toast in that scene.
I'm with you. That was the most unsettling part to me.
Yeah.
Or just the even the portion of the back rooms, how they always look like memories. Like there's like the corridor with that it has a door like at the top of this like incline.
Yeah.
But like it's like how you would remember like looking down a hallway.
Yes.
Because like the door is very small at the end, but they just made that in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those, like something about that just like made it unsettling to me because like, oh, that just doesn't feel right. That's how
See, I'm not sure my brain.
It's fascinating.
Similarly, that my brain I think struggles with the uncanny valley. I'm not sure that I get the liminal space freak out things.
Okay.
Like it's just something that I feel like I don't know. Maybe this is my neurodivergence that we're discovering in real time.
Yeah, we all got it.
There's something there. I don't find them freaky in their architecture. Like that doesn't bother me as much. The definitely the you keep going. I kept being afraid he was going to get lost. And then like that was really my thing. But then like they keep kind of seeding it that like he's an architect, so he has the ability to kind of like draw at least fairly accurate maps and that kind of thing to it. And then I guess like we find on later on that he's like in essence kind of uploading himself there as well too in some ways, that like he has the Pirate Clark version. Which again, when the movie makes the choice to
almost
when the movie makes the choice to show that guy, it was another of those, oh shit, I've watched too many horror movie moments because I'm like, hey, that's the skinny guy that they use for all the tall skinny guys whenever they need a tall skinny guy. I was like, oh, okay, I know what kind of movie this is going to be from here on out then, basically. And that definitely, to Tyler's point, lowered that horror threshold for me. But as Adam said, we got kind of a hard out here that we're trying to hit, folks, so we can wrap up our thoughts here overall. Tyler, you haven't got to chat much here. Is there any bigger thoughts you had for Backrooms?
Yeah, honestly, I'll keep it pretty short. So, the design and theory of this is really, really cool. Execution is just kind of where it missed out for me. The drawing that he made of the said monster on like out of fucking like crayons and shit on the wall, or maybe that wasn't him, but it kind of sounded like it was him just from the dialogue that they were having. The monster that's depicted in that picture, that's how I was also kind of picturing said monster before we actually got the reveal. And then once we got the reveal, I was like laughing. So it was just kind of one of those things that missed for me. I love the aesthetic of this place. I promise you, I know what like this place smells like. And I think that was really cool for me to be able to just kind of just it kept me just deep in this kind of world a little bit more, just a little bit more impactful for me. So that was pretty cool. And then I do thoroughly enjoy the part where she kind of finds her out before she gets picked up. And she's kind of sitting there with her head on the wall looking at the monster. And they kind of have like this very like intimate, like I see you now kind of moment. And I thought that was really cool for the importance of like kind of what they were going for. But overall, it had kind of lost me by that point. I do love the fact that we go like full found footage style at one point, which is pretty fun. I think that's kind of it for me on back doors. I wonder if we'll get front doors or back rooms. I wonder if we'll get back
Front
doors.
rooms.
Yeah, front rooms.
Backdoor is
Yeah.
definitely the porn parody. That's already made.
Yeah, back doors is definitely the porn.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Take us
think
long.
I think we all kind of agree though. Or like, I think like from a technical sense, I think Backrooms is done well, let alone for like a young director's debut. But like the story was just almost a little too convoluted. The movie's a little too long. It's almost 2 hours. Like there's a better cut of that out there somewhere
For
in
sure.
some reality, right? One thing I do want to give shout out to is watching it. My boy Mark Duplass had no idea he was in it, and I love Creep. So when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's my boy from Creep." But I'm in a theater with a bunch of 14-year-olds, so nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, of course.
So like, but like that was a very cool thing for me. So yeah, just pleasant surprise to kind of see him on the screen. But yeah, man, that's it. Let's get out of here.
Cool. Well, welcome back, listeners who skipped over spoilers. We're gonna go ahead and rank both these movies up upon our Entropy list.
This is too much thought.
Yeah, that's all we get this week. Start with Obsession.
Hi.
We've been talking for an hour now. I mean,
I'm saying it's gonna go high on the list. You psycho.
So, for context, fellas, B tier ends at The Notebook, 167, begins at Glass Onion, 99. A tier is Top Gun Maverick at 98, all the way to Terminator to T2, 34. I assume that's probably where we're operating, somewhere in here.
Yeah. How about 64? Above Spider-Man No Way Home, below Tropic Thunder, but for context, that's 3 below It Follows, and 7 above Long Legs. Below it as well too would be Sinners, down at 88. Up above it, horror movie wise, you got, I guess, 28 Years Later in 28 Days, but then you're in
arguably
Romulus.
Yeah, then you're up into kind of some top tier stuff. You know, your Green Rooms, your Jaws, your Alien, The Thing. You know, near the top end of the list. Get Out, another one I kind of referenced as well. What are we thinking? I'm kind of in that range, I think.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of follow you. I think you've got the right idea here. Sinners is another, even if you can't, I'm just say horror adjacent movie, right? They kind of got a lot of buzz as well that we have in 88. So I think you kind of have to operate in that baseline.
Yeah, kind of what I was thinking. You know, hype around Long Legs was, I feel like, comparable at some points as well too.
Yeah, but I don't know if it like delivered.
Yeah, I think
what it was
Obsession,
supposed to be,
I think
right?
was more successful than that.
Who's got a ranking? I do.
Go ahead, Adam.
I'm gonna rip it at 76, below Suzume and above 1917.
Okay.
That is A tier. It's A tier.
I would go with mine.
It's gonna be slightly higher.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I think I'm gonna be
that's
right.
below Long Legs. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going right at Long Legs. I think I'm gonna go 69, right below Princess Mononoke.
I'm gonna change.
Okay.
You said 69. I didn't realize it was below Long Legs. Then I see Black Hawk Down and what's the other one that I'm?
Nosferatu, The Conjuring.
I like this better than Nosferatu and Long Legs. So I'm gonna and honestly Black Hawk Down. So I'm gonna do 65 below Spider-Man No Way Home and above Black Hawk Down.
I'm above
yeah,
Spider-Man.
Mononoke is what kills it for me. Conjuring 2,
Mononoke
that's
is
just
tough.
like an absolute classic. Nosferatu, yeah, kind of fell to the wayside now that we're a little into it.
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of close out here, guys. And I think I'm close to you. Like in my heart of hearts, like truth be told, I want this below Bring Her Back. I still think Bring Her Back's the best horror movie we've gotten in the past in the 2020s decade. But I guess I'll suffice that for Backrooms. Where I'm actually going to go is I'm going to go above Sinners, but one I'm actually not going to sacrifice is going to be Scream and American Psycho.
Fair.
So I am going to go 83.
And I'll go 64.
Cool. Gives us an average ranking of 70.25, meaning we'll put it at 71 below John Wick and above Nope.
Okay,
just for
I like that.
Just for clarification, that was Obsession, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Wow, my computer just function.
Okay, so 2 Backrooms.
I know where I'm going.
Go.
144. Above Multiverse of Madness. I haven't liked a Marvel movie post fucking 2021 anyways. And it's not better than Barbarian. It's not better than Malignant. It's not better than fucking Blade 2. It's not better than Bring Her Back. It's not better than any of those. That's where I'm going. Doctor Sleep, all that. Case closed for me.
I'll go.
It's gonna be a lot lower.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's an easy question in here for you guys. And then the question is, do you like it more than Hokum?
I was just about to say that is a good question to ask. I do like him more than Hokum, personally. But not by a ton. I think I'm good. I think I'm good at 165. Below The Strangers, above Die Hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not like this more than Hokum, but I'm not putting it down there.
I actually like Hokum a decent amount, dude. That
I
movie's
like
kinda grown on me
Hokum a
over
lot.
time.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Hokum quite a bit. So I'm gonna put this at 151. Below Ready or Not, above Power of the Dog. I know that I am.
You said? Did you say 61?
51.
151.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that that's putting it above like Halloween 2018 and some other ones in there as well too, and it's putting it above Hokum. But like that's kind of where I think it is in comparison to all this, and I know we're gonna nuke it further. So yeah. I mean, again, this isn't a personal list, right? So that's where I've got it, kind of in the room.
Gotta put it somewhere.
Actually, I take that back. 153. I didn't realize Blair Witch is right there. My bad. So yeah, we're gonna put it below Blair Witch, above American Gangster.
I think I'm just gonna use my.
I'm sorry.
153.
Okay, Ty.
I think I'm just gonna use my Gatekeeper at 180.
What's
Trick or
180?
Trick or treat.
That's valid.
Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna drop it down to 181. So that way Trick or Treat's still above it for me. But
That's
I mean, you do have things like Pitch Black is like very nostalgic. We just talked about like, I mean, every time it gets brought up, we talk about how good Underwater is. You have classics like Insidious down there.
Bloodlines. I liked Bloodlines a lot too.
Bloodlines, and then we just talked about again how good Shaft was.
Yeah.
So obviously not same genre, but you know, once you get up to kind of like that, we constantly call it Nightmare Alley. I think you start to hit a lot of different hard movies.
Yeah,
and you only go up from there. So not to take away from this, I think I probably would rewatch this again. Probably not like go back out in theaters and do it, but like if I was just chilling at home and I was like, oh, you know what, I haven't seen some of it, I'm gonna give this a little rewatch. I probably will. I like it enough to be able to do that. It's just missed out a little bit, like I said, on the execution. So
cool.
All right. Gives us an average ranking of 160.5, meaning we'll put that at 161 below The Menu and above Last Night in Soho.
Yeah. Splitting the Anya Taylor-Joy joints.
There you go.
Yeah.
About time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, there you have it.
We're only 15
Obsession
minutes off schedule.
Backrooms, they're both up. We are done with those reviews. Next week's review is going to be on a new Steven Spielberg movie called Disclosure Day. It's new in theaters. Go check it out this weekend. Just for our review next week. All of our show plugs and personal plugs you can find in the episode description. We're going to head on out of here because it's late. Thank you all for listening, especially if you've made it this far into the episode. We really do appreciate it. You're a favorite type of listener. We'll see you next week for Disclosure Day. We'll be RB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
And Bill, well, I mean, I guess on my end, not much, Nathaniel. I've been watching some college baseball, brother. As you know, it's that time of year.
It's that time of year.
Hell yeah.
So I've been watching that. Caught some exciting games, man. I was watching a West Virginia versus Cal Poly.
Who's supposed to be the heavyweight, or who's the favorites this year?
The highest ranked team I think that I watched a Auburn versus, was it like Ole Miss to go to the World Series, and the World Series I think is what, 8 teams? Does that sound right?
Yeah,
6
something like that.
teams. I don't know, but yeah, I watched a Auburn versus Ole Miss, and Auburn was like 3.
Okay,
But they were the highest ranked team that I saw playing. Coolest matchup to head to the World Series. There was 2 small schools. There was like Little Rock University
sure.
versus Troy. And just like 2 small schools in Arkansas and Alabama playing each other. It's like just fascinating, you know what I mean? Considering they're gonna go play like fucking
Men.
USC and
Yeah.
Oklahoma and all
Yeah.
this other shit. So yeah, man, it's cool, dude.
Oh, always fun.
Yeah.
We're calling it the last untouched college sport.
Yeah, well, you just wait. You wait a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just
they're
wait.
gonna
What,
cook that.
You just
Put
gonna
too much
waiting
attention
on
on
the
it,
NIL
and that
money
thing
to
is
come
gonna
in.
go.
Like,
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of that, I assume, did you guys at least see, and we'll keep it quick here, I know we want to record, did you guys see the Texas Tech quarterback situation? I'm sure Adam's at least seen that.
No, I haven't.
I've seen people talking about it, but I don't know the specifics.
Yeah, so in short here, fellas, so the Texas Tech quarterback, he just transferred there. You know, now you can transfer anywhere in college.
Yeah.
And he, in the offseason, so about 3 months ago, he was caught gambling at his previous school and gambling on games he was playing in.
Okay.
And so they suspended him, and then he went to kind of fight it, and a judge reinstated him. So like now he's able to play, but it's like about to set the precedent that like you can fucking gamble on yourself in college sports.
Shit.
And it's just like that sport's
Yeah,
like
that feels
that sport is
like-
dying.
That
That's where it's
feels, yeah, that doesn't feel good. That
No.
I didn't know that. That is crazy.
So that's kind of the news now, dude. And what's came out since that ruling is there now have been other athletic directors at other schools who are coming out saying, hey, we won't schedule Texas Tech for any sport.
Mm,
Right. Like not just
Oh,
football,
wow.
but like, yeah, this is absurd, man. Like they're allowing people to play games and gamble them and throw games away. It's like it's deep, man.
well, you would think the
So, I
books.
don't know what's gonna
you think the books themselves wouldn't carry the school.
Yeah.
So like
You would
I
think.
think that's how you stop this is like the sports books got to be the ones to be like, well,
Yeah.
then we're not offering odds on Texas Tech. Like,
But like, is that enough? Is the one guy who placed, I don't know, whatever it was, 100,000, 200,000 worth of bets enough to swing everyone else? You know, sports books are probably like, I mean, yeah, we're still getting $5 million.
yeah,
in
but if
bets
they
on these
can't
guys
if
every
they
fucking
can't
year.
trust that the game's being played right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I hear you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess I see your point. Like, is it risky? But it's one college game. I got to think that for them, it's not.
Yeah.
They'd just rather not. Like, I wouldn't put a lineup on that team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, dude, it's weird, man. But yeah, that's the precedent that's been
That's
dropped
crazy.
the other day in college football. So I think they're going to go back on that, or I think the school's going to have to stop and just not
Well,
not allow them to
I don't
play.
even know why the school's not just being like, yeah, kick rocks, kid. Like rescind
Yeah.
your scholarship
Absurd,
or something
dude.
like that. Yeah.
Absolutely absurd, right? Yeah. And this message was brought to you by DraftKings.
Yeah.
Right, like that's
Yeah,
how like
dude.
that news is broke to you on ESPN. It's like
For
that
real.
whole snippet,
Yeah.
and then it's like the betting odds of the NBA Finals and the Stanley
Yeah.
Cup.
Now
like,
we kick it
below.
on
It's like,
over to the
we're just in
weather.
a sick
Presented to you
place.
by Kalshi.
Dude, so like
Yeah.
my exposure to like gambling's pretty low because it's just not in my feet. It's not something I do. It never gets thrown at me.
Mhm.
And so we were watching a little bit of game 2
Oh, sure.
and it was every single commercial,
That's
every single break. Like I was like, dude, I told Adam even, I was like, I am just not exposed to this. I'm like, this is crazy
Mhm.
Yeah.
how much they put this on here on a regular basis to the
Yeah,
point
dude.
where even if it's like a 30-second timeout, the announcers, the commentators will just start reading fucking ads. And I'm
Mhm.
like, are you fucking nuts, dude? I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are we doing?
Dude, we're so far removed from like the shit we should be doing as a society.
Such
It's
a
like,
shame. Gambling's
it's
so
weird, dude.
fucking rotten, dude. It's
I know,
so
dude.
fucking rotten.
And then it's like actually promoted by the organizations.
It's
Like
crazy.
it's mind blowing, dude. It's
Right.
mind blowing. Yeah.